Good evening, Razorback fans. Welcome to another episode of the Hog Talk podcast, live from the Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios, part of the Believe and Buzz Radio Network, where you can hear us each week on 106.7 Buzz 2 in Central Arkansas. All live shows are presented to you by Arkansas Brewing Company in downtown Ozark. I am Porter Hayes. Alongside me, as always, and Adam Hall. And on tonight's show, we're going to cover some Summer League action with Pro Hogs, and then we will switch over to the people versus Hunter Yuracheck. Self-explanatory. You all know what we're going with that, but we're going to start off with Adam. The fact that we're seeing multiple players from Arkansas do so well in this summer league is really good, and it's not just one game here and there. I know Acuff's been getting some flack for just the amount of shots he's taking. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's scoring points, but I'm telling you, if that guy finds his groove and Malik gets going, they're going to be a problem in the league this year.
Oh, definitely. And I know after this last game, Darius is getting a little bit of flack for his defense or lack thereof. He's been, caught slipping a little bit, but kind of like Cal said, he scores points. So I don't give a,
Yeah.
So it is what it is. At the same time, listening to Acuff, his post-game interviews, he's a rookie that sounds like a veteran. He's taking all the blame for his play and his shot selection and things like that. He basically said after, I think, 2 games ago that he was like, I'm playing terrible. I've got to get better. Mm-hmm. And I think we can all agree, you get 4 or 5 more of those shots to fall, he's going to be in the 30s easily.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's just a matter of filling things out, new team, new environment, this, that, and the other. But, both of them, the Acuff, is going to be, we know he's going to have a role, potentially starting role, or at least I feel like that. Malik Thomas on the team, he's doing what he can. The talent is going to be in the game is going to be completely different once the season starts.
Oh, yeah.
You're playing against a bunch of guys that the majority of them are not going to make rosters. A lot of them are going to go overseas, so Malik, I see having a true kind of like experience that Jordan Walsh had, working through the G League, having those days where, he may suit up earlier in the day and play for Cleveland's G League team and then suit up and sit on the bench or whatever for a Cavaliers game if they need him. Jordan Walsh did that quite a bit. So Malik Thomas is a gym rat. He's a workhorse. He's going to do whatever is asked of him. He just wants to play. And I think he'll do everything in his power to get on the court. I just think with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, and you have the potential of LeBron James joining that. We don't know where he's going yet. I mean, it's going to be difficult for Malik to get on the floor at times. So he's got to do what he can now. And then when G League does start, but both of them are doing what they need to do. I've been pleasantly surprised too by Jonas Adu. He's coming in, for several games, having double-digit points, double-digit rebounds, 3 to 5 blocks a game. I mean, he's doing what he needs to do to make a roster. So he
seems like he's doing kind of a Jalen Williams type of deal, mm-hmm. where he's going to go in there and he's going to be your rebounder. He's going to give you he's going to give you enough points to keep you in the game for rebounding purposes and that extracurricular, the defense mm-hmm. and the extra fouls and what have you. But yet we know he can give you points. Malik Thomas has just surprised me. I know, like you said, this is G League. This is like you're going to the G League averaging 25 points a game and then not getting anything if you go to the league. Mm-hmm. But the fact that was my only criticism of him was how timid he was with Acuff being right there by his side. I mm-hmm. thought, okay, it's going to take him some time. So whether he does that route or what, it's nice seeing him come out of his shell and really, you talk about green light. Maybe that's what part of it was. He wanted more of the green light to just shoot it. But yet when you have somebody like Acuff, because you look at that one clip where he's just spinning around, he's just chucking it up. Like mm-hmm. he is shooting. His confidence is growing. And he might totally surprise us and be in the normal rotation. It's one of them things that I didn't think he would make it this year. I thought he should have came back. But then with next year's roster, he was in that rock and a hard place. Do you, don't you? And if he keeps playing like this and he has that attitude, and when he made that 3, he's sitting there clapping, he's getting it.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see that from him hardly. I mean, we seen it spurts here and there, but for the most part, he wasn't dribbling to the rack. He was not spotting up, shooting a three like he was. So I'm pleasantly surprised by that. It's like the old AAU run, how he was doing before he got on campus. And of course, you have to go to the what if. What if he was just going through the motions at Arkansas because he knew, hey, I have to go 1 year. I've got to get this over with. I got Cal. I got my bag. And then you explode. I mean, you never know in these days. And I'll tell you what, if that's the case, you can't be mad at it because they don't have the option to go straight into the league out of the NBA. So you have to go play 1 year. He knew his potential, and we sat there and just slept on it. I did, at least. I know that he was a fan favorite to a lot, but I'm talking about being in the league and making an impact. He's proving me that he can go in there and make an impact.
And, coming into last season, as these guys are coming into campus before the season started, I think the majority of us had the most expectations for Malik Thomas, just based on what we had seen in high school and in travel ball and circuits and whatnot. We didn't know what we had in Darius Acuff coming in. And, Darius was quiet in the beginning, and then you just saw, game by game, him starting to take over. And I'm not saying that Malik took a back seat. I just think Malik recognized what Darius was and that the offense ran through him. So now, he's on the summer league roster where everybody's, vying for a spot. And I think, this is yes, I'm going to be a great teammate. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Of course, I think they're 0-2 or 0-3 at this point. Do whatever it takes. But at the same time, I've got to get mine so that I can earn a spot. And I'm going to play this real quick. This was Coach Cal during the game. He sat down with NBA TV, and they discussed Malik and everything. And
and then he says, "Can you get your own shot?" Because he ain't gonna run a whole lot of plays for you. But the whole thing for me, look at that floater. The floater. Come on.
In the league, but that's an impressive list.
This kid right here, that people missed on him. Don't make that. Don't do that and make him. They missed on him.
I told you. I said he should have been a first-round pick.
No question. I'm still mad at Cleveland because they traded the first-round pick. I said, what are you doing? And then Brandon Weems calls me and said, we're good. We're still there. And da-da-da. So they end up getting him. But you have Darius, and John comes up to me and says, he's your best scoring point guard. And I go, is he faster than you? He says, oh, no. He's not faster than I am.
Not for himself. He feel like once you do your job, you're fine. But I got a question. You have a young fella, Jordan Smith, Jr. I've been very high on him. How do you like about him and your
I mean,
and Transplant Texas was talking about Cal's propping his guys up. I mean, I love that. I love how him and John Wall talking. I mean, they're sitting there chopping it up, and just his knowledge and how he truly cares about these players. He could sit there and promise them the world, get them to the league, and then he could just move on to the next group. But he's out there marketing. He knows what he's doing. He's a politician, and we love it. We hated him when he was at any other school, but now that he's Arkansas, it's almost like the Musselman situation. We loved him being out there because it meant eyes on Arkansas. And for him to go out there and do that, but you're seeing Malik just turn into a whole different character, a whole different cat. And that's what's to come. We were talking about that last week of what is this meaning for the future of Arkansas basketball? We're seeing, dude, all right, you ain't playing. You're not just getting people in the league and then to hell with them, or you're hyping these people up. They're not producing in the G League. They're not producing in the league. And now we're seeing your duo with Acuff and Malik Thomas. People are seeing that. We're talking, and we'll get in the second segment about being positive. Well, you're seeing the positivity because there's something to be positive about. And this is going to grow. If Cal gives us another good 3, 4, 5 years, we will win a national championship because there's just he's going to have that one team that there's just too much damn talent on there to not win it. You look at the one that did win it. I mean, there's just so much talent to not win it, and they did. And that's what's going to happen in Arkansas.
And after the game, there's an interview with Malik, and they're asking, about Cal State, and he said that, the first night that they were all in Vegas, like all the Arkansas guys and Cal and coaching staff that were there. They went to dinner. And he said, they really enjoyed that. And Cal had stayed and watched everybody but Malik up until this point. And Cal was supposed to leave yesterday, but told Malik that he wasn't going to leave because he was going to watch his game. And then just how much it meant to Malik for him to stay and, be with Malik's family during the game and everything. And then Cal had another interview after the game, kind of just talking about the teams that whiffed on Acuff and Malik Thomas and kind of comparing them to a couple of past Kentucky Wildcats and the situations they had going into the draft and such.
Tyrese Maxey and Emmanuel Quickly were similar to Darius and Malik. You get mad, like, what are you people looking at? Like, do you understand how good these guys are? And really, the COVID kind of shut down the Maxey quickly. But here we get knocked out Sweet 16, and people didn't get the full gist of what Darius was. And Darius was a little hurt, and what Malik was. And now they're saying, oh, why? How did people pass on Malik? Well, I'll tell you, there were people that passed on Darius too. And but I'm happy for both of them because they landed where people wanted them. I mean, Vivek called me, the owner of the Kings. We really want your guy. So can you help us? What pick are you? 7. You're going to have to trade. I don't know what to tell you. How am I going to help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, too, the thing where he said they're landing in the teams that wanted him, that's what's going to benefit them. I believe I made this comment last week. To me, do you want to go first round early pick to a team where there's nothing around you? And more so this happens in football, of course, than basketball. When you go to the first round, you just never, because there's nothing around you. But you're falling into a spot where you can thrive. You could go here and find a starting role on the Kings, or Malik Thomas can find a role on the Cavs and flourish because, all right, let's say whoever in front of you passed on you. But what's the situation like with them? You got to remember, they're bad teams and bad franchises for a reason. Are they going to develop you? Are they going to really want you? Or it's, well, we're going to trade up because we want this pick. Or you look at Acuff and especially Malik. You're talking about the Kings called him saying they wanted him. They're going to take care of him. And eventually he might not get in this rotation now, but they're going to build him up. Same way with Acuff and the Kings. If he could be their new franchise player, they're going to do everything they can to prop him up, to coddle him to where he's going to flourish. And this is where, just because you're the number 1 pick or number 2 pick overall, you want to find out where you fit. And everything happens for a reason. And with all that being said, if they would have got picked at any other team, any other franchise, would they be having the success, or would they be scoring this many points? Because that ain't always guaranteed. Well, you're at this team blowing up 25, 30 points a game. Well, you could go to the Bulls and be your style don't fit with their rotation, their offensive scheme, and then now you're down to 12. So everything happens for a reason, and I think it's all going to work out to where they're going to flourish. Acuff, and I honestly, if he keeps playing this way, Malik's going to find a rotation. He's going to come off the bench and play. He's just showing that he's just too talented to not.
Oh, definitely. And transplanting to answer this higher, yes. So, the next 3 to 4-ish years, however long we have Coach Calipari, are going to be crucial because, and it's the same way with Arkansas baseball, setting your future up before you go. I think it would be an ideal situation if when Coach Calipari leaves, retires. I mean, you have Kenny Payne, who has been head coach of Louisville before. Chin Coleman has never been a head coach, but he's been right alongside Coach Calipari for years and years. So, I mean, you've got 2 guys, in my opinion. I would just look at Kenny Payne because he has the head coaching experience. Me and some buddies talked about it the other day, and they asked me if I thought if we would get into a Nepo situation like Auburn, that would Cal, have it in there for his son Seth to become the next head coach, kind of like, Pearl. But I don't see that happening just because I don't think there's going to be, I don't think we're going to have a Nepo coach like Auburn has with Pearl. But I would look at Kenny Payne or Chin Coleman if you wanted to give him the first chance. I just look at Kenny Payne because he has the head coaching experience.
This is my thing on it. And we'll say this, I'll let you respond and we'll wrap up the segment with this. Cal has pretty much blatantly kind of said without saying 3 more years. I mean, if he extends to 4, okay, cool. But we've laid out this plan. John Tyson's going to be out there another 3 years. Cal's going to be there another 3 years. Tyson's money's not going anywhere though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cal, and you know how he is and how Italian he is, he's going to vet the next guy that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He will have just as much to say. So to me, if he has full faith in Payne or whoever, even if it's his son, I'll tell you this, it don't matter if it's Nepo or not. You got Tyson's money and you're getting the recruits in. We don't know where college basketball is going to be in the next 4 or 5 years. What if it is a minor major league or whatever? So you look at how the coaching is in the big leagues. Yeah, coaching matters. You have the ones like Pop and, the one that used to be the Florida coach.
Billy Donovan.
Donovan, and then the younger one. What's his name? He wasn't at Florida. Just God. The one that was at the Celtics. What was his name?
The one that's now the GM.
Yes. But
I can't remember.
You get people that can get the money, you can get the players. You're going to have the talent where you don't have to have a Cal type coach to win, because you have a Cal type coach at Kentucky and Arkansas, and they've won. You get somebody like a Dan Hurley. Look what he's done. Look what the now Florida coach has done.
Brad Stevens is that coach.
Brad Stevens. That's the one I was thinking of. Yes, him. So I think that Cal needs to start preparing in a couple years to get Tyson to believe in his hire and pass the torch. Coach Cal's like, look, I'm riding off in the sunset. I want Arkansas to be successful after I leave. This is who I feel needs to be the coach. He gets fully funded by Tyson, and we just keep rolling this thing on. Mm-hmm. But I think that if you're successful and this thing works out, you've got a big voucher when it comes to Cal. And if Cal comes with the money, that's where you need to lean with, because you could bring in another coach. Okay, guy wins 2 national championships at said school and he comes into here. What's going to happen if you don't have the money? Because we've all know, hell, as long as Hunter Yuracheck's here, what's going to happen if you don't have Tyson's money? You're not going to get it from him, because all he cares about is the daggum football program and fans not being positive. So you need to make sure you got Tyson in your back pocket as long as that well's there. So that's going to be the torch passing that I see. And if you keep the ball, go ahead.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, I think that he is definitely going to have a say in what happens post. The only reason he didn't with Kentucky is because he left to go to another school.
Yeah.
They had that divorce. Retiring from Arkansas is a different scenario. And then being good friends with John Tyson. So yes, Coach Calipari is going to have, it's kind of like, no, obviously he hasn't been here as long as Dave Van Horn, but both of these guys are going to have the say on who the next head coach is. Dave Van Horn.
You never know. What if he's the AD in 3-4 years? I just think from a politicking and money raising situation, look, we've seen where the landscape of college football is and college athletics. You need somebody who can raise money and can get things done in Arkansas. That's what you need, because what the hell are we doing with all our GMs? You know what I'm saying? Like, so what will an AD be in 3 to 4 years compared to what it used to be? And if it means that he rides off in the sunset, and if it means we continue to have a successful basketball program and we have that security of it, hey, football's crap, baseball's declining because Dave Van Horn's leaving, at least we have something to hold on to. I know I'm reaching on that one, but you just don't know where the state of the program's going to be And you see how he's politicking. I mean, would you not want that representing your whole university? I mean, everybody screams Houston nut. That'd be amazing, but it's just, yeah, we'll talk about that next segment. We're running this first segment short because we got some stuff for you on that.
Well, before we do take our break, we'll just look at because we're going to get into some Hogs Plus stuff in the next segment also. But Hogs Plus put out this little 20-second clip, but it's of our bigs at practice, and it's nice to see. And yes, I know this is practice, and we're just getting little clips and stuff, but it's good to see our bigs get in there playing defensively. You know, getting this right here, going up and blocking here, but, you know, I know there's been a lot of questions on, you know, Cooper Bowser, and I know after last season and Smito being out for the season, you know, there's a lot of questions surrounding him and him returning and such. So it's good to see this.
Well, that's what we want. We want physical bigs and they're active. You want them. I mean, even that right there. I love blocks. Like, I wish I was 6'8" just to be able to block somebody. Like the dunk and block. There's just nothing more basketball and athletic than somebody going up thinking they have an easy shot and you just swat it.
Oh, yeah. So it's good to see. As a reminder, July 31st, Arkansas plays the Bahamas national team. So we'll get to see a first glimpse. I think they play like Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. I believe they have 4 games playing all international teams. As it stands right now, the games will be streamed on YouTube. There's talk that ESPN may pick up some of the games. We don't know yet, but as far as I know, they're going to stream for free on YouTube as it stands right now.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, I remember somebody was asking about that in the comments when we first started posting about it. But it's good to see something positive. And Hogs Plus, hey, there's your positive vibes, because it's going to quickly change. Not Hogs Plus per se, but your people that you let represent you. We'll talk about that. So, look, everybody in the chat right now, everybody watching, you better go grab a friend because it's going to get spicy the next segment. It's going to be the people versus Hunter Yuracheck. We're going to lay it out. I know we've been vocal about it. I know, but, you know, fans, you're being too negative. Being too negative about this 2-win football program. You're being too negative. You're not putting enough names on that stadium. So we're going to tell you how it is, fans. We're going to come at you and tell you what you need to do. And some great ideas to be more positive and be like Chuck and Bo and be like Hogs Illustrated, the other one, and all those plus people that want to pump the sunshine. So you want to stay tuned for this. We'll be right back after the break.
Searching for premium brewery products that will take your daily routine to the next level? Look no further than Sterling Soap Company. Our handmade soaps, aftershaves, and balms are made with only the finest ingredients that give you the ultimate grooming experience. With a variety of scents to choose from, there's something for everyone. Plus, our products are crafted in small batches to ensure the highest level of quality. So why wait? Visit www.sterlingsoap.com or visit our retail store at 16 West Walnut Street in Paris, Arkansas. Shop our collection and discover the difference for yourself. Upgrade your grooming routine with Sterling Soap Company. Are you looking for a place to grab a cold drink and some delicious food? Look no further than Arkansas Brewing Company. Located at 201 South 1st Street in beautiful downtown Ozark, our establishment offers a wide selection of craft beers and tasty eats. But what sets us apart is our welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. At Arkansas Brewing Company, you'll always feel like part of the family. So visit Destiny and Christopher Brockett and staff today and see for yourself what makes us the go-to spot for locals and visitors alike. Arkansas Brewing Company, come for the drinks and stay for the friends. Attention DIYers and home improvement enthusiasts. Are you searching for the right tools and supplies to tackle your next project? Look no further than Mentor's Hardware Store. With locations in Ozark, Alma, and Clarksville, our vast selection of hardware and building materials is sure to have everything you need, whether you're fixing a leaky faucet or building a new deck. Plus, our knowledgeable staff is always on hand to offer expert advice and guidance. And with our competitive prices and convenient online ordering, Mentor's Hardware Store is your one-stop shop for all your DIY needs. Visit us today and let's build something amazing together.
Are you looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than ATU Ozark Campus. As a 2-year satellite campus of Arkansas Tech University,
we're dedicated to a quality workforce education, industry partnerships for in-demand jobs, and tailored paths for success. Our programs are led by industry professionals. Whether it's a certificate or you're aiming for a graduate degree, ATU Ozark has you covered. Visit our website at www.atu.edu/Ozark or contact us at 479-667-2117. Your future begins here. Welcome to Ozark Area Chamber of Commerce, where our mission is simple: encourage, promote, and aid an enduring environment of shared economic opportunity and civic development for the Ozark, Arkansas area. Whether you're a local business owner or a resident, we've got something for you. Shop our unique local businesses, explore the beauty of Ozark, and savor local flavors and find cozy accommodations. Join us in building a stronger community. And to learn more, contact us at 479-667-2525. Remember, together we thrive.
And welcome to the second segment of the Hog Talk podcast. And quarters in session. The people versus Hunter Yuracheck. And Adam, we had just gotten talking about last week how we feel like we're saying the same things over and over again, and we're ready for a new light. But by God, they just have to do it again, don't they? Yeah. They have to come out and make some kind of idiotic statement. They have to make some kind of freaking interview that's tailored for you. A soft tater right down the middle, and you fumble it. You screw it up. It's like, who needs the freaking Little Rock Touchdown Club this year? He's already given us the content we need to, once again, you're calling the fans, telling them that they're not positive enough, and we need to keep this. What momentum is there, Hunter Yuracheck? I don't understand where he's talking about this momentum. We need to keep this momentum going to be positive. What momentum is there? And the fact that we'll talk about the whole setup of the interview and all that begin with, but when I first seen the comments, it was this clip we're about to show you. When you piss Matt Jones off, you've done something. This dude is even chill, even kill. By God, he wants to go to ESPN Arkansas. He wants to do his halftime show from 11 to 2, and he wants to go home, man. He wants to do his job, and he wants to go home. Nothing. I mean, he's paid his dues for the university, and he wants to give back to the fans and do this radio show. And for you to piss him off to the point where he calls you an idiot, roll the clip.
Ruskin and Zach or the Hunter Yuracheck?
Yeah, Ruskin and Zach. We'll start with the Ruskin and Zach one because I'll talk about the Matt Jones and then we'll get into the other stuff.
You know what? Take some responsibility and say, you know what? We haven't done. It hasn't been good enough, and we're going to be better. Don't blame. He's that's a great statement.
Shifting blame.
I mean, he's an idiot.
He's shifting blame.
And this is the guy that's in charge. That's the man that's in charge, and he's like, take some response. You haven't done anything good for take some response. Hey, we're making changes. The last regime didn't know what they were doing. We weren't even getting our best kids in the state. We're making changes. It's on us. We're going to be better for you. Don't tell us how to act.
There you go.
Exactly. And kudos. And when we reference Ruskin and Zach a lot, because, to be honest, our views align with them. We're the other guys, and we're the ones. And I'll tell you what, it is great to see the mothership, because you know what you're getting from Ruskin and Zach. Mm-hmm. The fact that you're starting to have, and I know a lot of people were saying, and they were getting the context of what we were saying wrong. John Neighbors is another one. He tells it how it is, because he's a frustrated fan who does a radio show. He tells it how it is. A good friend of our show. We reach out to him all the time, and him and the crew, Andrew and Curtis, the whole crew, they tell it how it is. But when it comes to your ESPN media and your television media, the propaganda media at Hogs Plus, I understand you're giving, but the fact that you put this interview out and you put that clip out, Adam, you're going to love this reference because it has to do with wrestling. In the tag team where that one guy's just beating the hell out of the other guy. He's on the other side of the ropes, and it's him and the ref and the other guy, and he's hitting him, and then the ref turns around and he throws his hands up. Mm-hmm. That's what Chuck and Bo did right there. That's what Hogs Plus did with that interview, because they knew what the hell they were doing. Mm-hmm. They knew they were going to get the negative reaction out of it, and then come around, they get to go on their morning show and pump sunshine. They get to go on their morning show and have everybody drink the Kool-Aid. You're cowards for that one. Because 2 weeks ago, you were off the bandwagon. You were showing your doubts. Now you've already drank the Kool-Aid. Daddy told you that if you want to do an interview, you got to start playing nice. And by God, did you play nice? But we know, we're reading between the lines. You knew what you were doing when you posted that. You're like, oh crap, this is going to be gold. This is going to get us clicks. They're going to be the ones reacting. And we're going to come in and save the day on our morning show and play like we're all behind you. Which, hey, kudos to them. That's cool. But it's a fact, say things with your chest. That's what I want from Hogs Plus. Tell it how it is, because I'm telling you, you think you're going to keep one person happy. He's going to be gone. You're going to have a new AD in here, and you're going to have to figure out how you're going to get funding for this Hogs Plus. Or you could start being for us and the fans and the common people and be real and watch your subscriptions go up. What do the fans really want? Do they want honesty? I think they should be more honest. But this whole clown show stuff, man, I'm telling you, you got the shirt on. You've been plugging it. We got it on there for sale. We're sending Zach one. He's going to wear it on air. But it's the fact that you want us to move on and be positive, but you keep setting us back. And hot take, when it's all said and done, Hunter Yuracheck's going to be the most overrated Razorback to ever step foot on the campus of the University of Arkansas.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, like you brought up, you and I talked about it when it was happening. It was around the beginning of the World Cup. You had Chuck and Bo show that was just kind of going off the rails a little bit. They were talking a little bit of everything. They were talking about the World Cup. They were talking about the fans. They were talking, honestly, just kind of about some of the nonsense that's going on at the Hill. They talked about the 3 years that it took to get naming rights to a stadium. And in that interview also, Hunter Yuracheck wanted to take credit for the naming rights to Razorback Stadium. Sir, you did not get that.
Yeah.
Y'all brought in Learfield to get that deal. You had 3 years to do it, and you couldn't do it. A third-party company did it. So let's stop that nonsense to begin with. But yeah, you had Chuck and Bo that were checked out, if you will, at least for a few days, few weeks maybe.
Hunter must have been on vacation while they done all that, because as soon as he come back and got around and slapped their hand, and they quickly quickly fell back in line.
And then you put out this interview. You have this interview that he knew what the questions were going to be. You had this interview that you knew what questions you couldn't ask and what topics you couldn't ask out. You had this interview that was obviously like any other interview. It's heavily edited. And I'm taking this from that same episode of Ruskin and Zach, because they spent their first segment of that show debating and discussing all of this. We want to see the stuff that was edited out of that, because that interview was not good. And you gave us the best parts of the interview is what we were allowed to see. And you fumbled it.
And I didn't even see the part where he was talking about giving Arkansas businesses a break. I didn't get to see that part.
Oh yeah, we decided to go outside of the state, and we this and we that, because like we've discussed here before, you had a bank that was willing to pony up some money to go on the stadium.
Who's his publicist?
That I don't know.
That's the thing. If we're talking about who needs to be fired. The people that are the yes men telling him, yeah, here, say this is going to be good. You're sitting there saying, how many months later, because 2 years later, if you want to be honest, because you knew this was coming up in 24, you didn't do nothing. Then there was a leak that went out by someone we're about to mention that saying, oh, it was for sure deal. That fell through, made them look like clowns. And then the fact that you come back and you're saying, oh, well, we're giving our in-state people a break. How many times have we mentioned Bank OZK? How many times have we mentioned ArcBest? How many times have we mentioned these other corporations that they don't have that big of a footprint with the University of Arkansas? So don't sit there and say that, oh, we gave them a break. Because what you're saying is, I tried, I couldn't do it, because you pretty much said last year you didn't have the funds. You give Learfield a go, and then you go give some credit union out of Kansas City
which I didn't know this either. They've had their name on, I believe I heard 6 different stadiums or arenas at any given point in time. So yes, they've done this before. My deal with this, and it's the same thing that we've had issues with when we want to know what some of these contracts say. They're not releasing any of the financials of this deal with this credit union. And it's weird because, they dove into what they could find out there on other naming rights to other stadiums. And the highest one I believe that they could find was like $4.93 million per year.
What was the thing that Christina Long and them found out? Because
that's what they were.
That's what
they were discussing was what the naming rights that she could find out. The highest one was like $4.93 million. In which she didn't even know till she started doing her research that even at the Coliseum, like their field is whatever field at the Coliseum or whatever. I think it's United Airlines or something like that. But I think 4.93 was the highest that she could find that was public information. But then you have Hunter Yuracheck talking about like this is the most lucrative naming rights deal, blah blah blah. But we're not going to release any of the information.
And the fact that we're going to take credit, and we're going to just kindly forget that another thing that that we can't do for you is how much does Learfield get from this? I reached out to a couple of people that are connected with the university, and they weren't sure, but they said at least 20%. But if you're desperate and they're having to go the extra mile to get somebody, negotiations were there. What if it's 30%? So you take another $1 million or almost $1 million off of that. And we're just, again, we're guesstimating and we're throwing stuff against the wall when we're saying how much this is. But the fact is, all right, you got us the money and we're making a super huge deal about it. Cool. One, you didn't do it. You might have helped, have been in the conversation. You got to be in the nice pictures. Learfield did it, but we don't know the true amount. And the fact is that Learfield gets a big cut of it. So in reality, this is just another thing you're trying to boast up like your stupid Challengers Cup that you're in the top 15 for to pump up your resume. But it's falling on deaf ears. Nobody believes you anymore. Nobody you talk about the trust. I would love to see an honest poll, like Truth Serum. Every Razorback fan in the state of Arkansas, or let's go beyond that. You polled every single Razorback fan, and I would love to see the popularity. What do they call that? The popularity poll that you always see them do for the presidents. Hey, this is what their popularity is right now, or
approval rating.
Approval rating. Yeah. What would be Hunter Yuracheck's approval rating right now? And it'd probably be lower than the interest rate right now.
I mean,
I think it'd be 10. You think it'd be 10% right now if you polled all the Razorback fans?
I think it would be higher just because you have your fans.
But they had to be honest.
I know, but you still have your fans that are so gung-ho that do have a problem with people like us or comments that were too negative, things of that nature, because they're so, and one of those fans that I'm talking about that's heavy on
and
social
we talk,
media.
That's the thing. Me and Rick talk. I mean, that's the thing.
And more power too. I know some other people that they're just very gung-ho with whatever happens at the University of Arkansas, they're behind.
Yes.
I'm just to the point that I'm tired of complacency. I'm tired of settling. I'm tired of being.
Just be honest. Be freaking honest with this. Like, we had trouble. We couldn't get this, and this is what we had to settle with. Hey, I'm trying to work my ass off to get y'all people this and this and this. I have failed you. I am sorry, Razorback fans. I have failed you. I didn't set Sam Pittman up. Be honest and say where we're going. Hey, look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's going to take us 2 years. I failed you. I'm sorry. It's going to take us 2 years for me to get this back on track. I lied to you. I mean, whatever you have to say. That's what it's going to take. But sunshine pumping and all this, it's starting to really, you talk about the ozone layer or whatever you want to call it. It's starting to shrink in where anything that's getting put out, everybody's starting to buy into what we've been saying. And Ruskin and Zach, us and John Neighbors and crew, what we've been saying for years. And the thing about the whole, when Trey Biddy was talking about when they were talking about kicking people out of the camp that they've let people in for years. Why? There's no reasoning behind anything that's what's going on with this program. And when your approval rating is already where it's at, little thing, you look at that issue that happened. I can't remember what happened years ago or 2 years ago with the football players, was it Lucas and the guys from Little Rock that tried to get in the stadium and it turned into a big deal.
It wasn't Anthony
Not
Lucas.
It was Jarius Wright, right?
Jarius, yeah, it was
okay.
Jarius Wright. Yeah, I think it was Jarius Wright.
But you think of that situation and the timing that it happened. Couldn't come at a worse time, but we're to blame.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're telling us we're the problem, but yet you put this crap out. You let Hogs Plus put that out there knowing, oh, they're going to love it. And he probably loves it. He probably thrives on the negativity. He probably wants to hate him so he can play the victim card, so he can sit there and still throw us in the face, because we're probably going to hear that we're idiots. You know, Chuck and Bo's probably going to go back to their thing where they're going to call us idiots again for saying what we're, but all in all, are we wrong? Mm-hmm. What are we saying? Yes, we're ranting and raving, but what are we saying that is wrong? Where are we wrong? That's what I want to know. Where are we lying?
Well, even if you look at, what things Hunter Yuracheck's done or not done, or like, okay, let's look at this past weekend. Because here's another one that I think we haven't actually discussed. But you had Post Malone and Jelly Roll this last weekend in Razorback Stadium. That wasn't Hunter Yuracheck. That was an Oakview group. Because once again, back in January, we selected Oakview Group for all event bookings at Razorback Stadium and Bud Walton Arena. Yep. They're the ones bringing in the concerts. But guess what? I mean, obviously, they're going to take a chunk of the money.
Oh, yeah.
But once again, the rest of that is going to the athletic department, foundation. It's not going to NIL.
Yeah.
But we're bringing in more revenue, which I get it. But at the same time, we're still sitting here talking about that we need to be ponying up money.
And how much are they promoting that, too? You think about another thing where they're fumbling. They could really promote that more to get more revenue from that. You could have sponsors for that. You could find some way to generate more money, but they're settlers. They're settling for, hey, they're coming in. We'll take base value for what we can get out of this concert, and then we're going to cry foul, and we're going to cry we're poor.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to cry poor when you're making $79 million just for your TV rights.
Oh, yeah. And Oakview is doing their thing. They've got, let's see, I'm looking at they have similar relationships with North Carolina State, University of Tennessee, Arizona State, Houston, University of Texas, University of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, St. Louis University. I believe OVG also handles concessions at Dickey Stevens in Little Rock. Or North Little Rock, rather. They do all the food, beverage, and hospitality at Dickey Stevens Park. So, once again, you've gone to a third party to do your job. Because my thing with that is who brought in Garth Brooks years ago? Because we didn't have this Oakview partnership then. So if you did that, why did you have to go for a third party this time? And for somebody else to take a chunk of the money? I just don't. Once again, we're going third party because we can't do our own job. We're delegating tasks out because we can't do our own job.
And you're wasting money.
Mm-hmm.
Again, let's go back to this interview. Where is Remy Cofield? Where is this? And somebody corrected me saying he's not the football GM. Where's he at? Where's your GMs? Another thing that pissed me off about this was the fact that Ryan Silverfield said his first 90 days, he's been doing more fundraising than anything. That should not be his job. How can you sit there and say that he needs to get you to an 8-9 win football team when he spends most of his time fundraising? You have 2 freaking GMs. You got an athletic director.
Oh, we have 3 GMs now.
Well, I'm just talking about football. You have your football GM, your main GM, and you got athletic.
Remy, I think, Remy's mainly over basketball now, I believe.
I thought Remy was the whole shebang.
He may be, because you have the one guy from University of Arizona that came over for football. You've now got the baseball one,
DJ Baxendale. Yep.
And then Remy.
I thought Remy was above all of them.
He may be.
Well, either or.
We don't hear from any of them. So,
I mean, we've seen that one interview from that guy that we showed about a month ago. And
I hear more from Andrew Luck in Stanford than I hear from our own.
Yeah. So,
and I get it that it's Andrew Luck and, former quarterback and this, that, and the other, but I've heard more from him over the last 2 years than I've heard from our GMs.
I just don't want to hear any more about how much money we need when we're probably wasting $3-4 million on these useless salaries.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about, again, when you do away from the tennis program because you ain't got money. I would love to know what Remy and this other dude's doing. I think that you're wasting money. And again, with Learfield, you're talking about all these things that you're getting outsourced because you can't do it. How much money has been spent on the raffle? How much money has been spent on Remy Cofield? How much money has been spent on the football and all the GMs or whatever? I don't even know that, Cal's pretty much, you could throw away the basketball GM because Cal's your GM. There's your money and there's your GM. But then on top of that, now that we're on the sunshine pumping and grifters and stuff, we have articles like this. And guys, look, this is where my situation with this person. And I have held my tongue for 3 years on this. But the fact that the Hogs AD deserves his flowers when it comes to being early on revenue streams. Bullshit. What has he done? What has he done that he deserves any kind of flowers? But it gets better because when you go in the comments and somebody says you're on the payroll, he throws his staffer under the bus because he's not going to back anything up because he wants to make sure he gets credentials. He want to make sure that he can go up there and say he was at spring practice. I'm tired of people not saying things with their chest. I don't care anymore. I've not really cared, but I've really watched what I've said on certain platforms and stuff because it comes off as petty, but I don't care about that anymore. I really don't care because Jacob writes these shit articles and his team, his old boss got thrown out and got kicked out and he gets to take over. You've seen what Sam Pittman said about him at SEC Media Days last year. But the fact that if you were writing for me, Adam, and you wrote that and somebody was giving you flack, I would stand behind you. But what does he do? No, it wasn't me.
You need to talk to the guy that wrote the article.
You're the one that approved it. You're the editor. You're the publisher of it. Start standing on business. But you're too busy doing these stupid ass top 26 players that have impact on this team. And I guess everything's kind of come to a head. And thank you, Hunter. You're checking all this shit with Hogs Plus and check because it's enough's enough with it. Because I'm sorry. The fact that you have people like Ruskin and Zach that everybody says they hate, but they're the most popular radio show in the state, whether you want to believe it or not, they are. You have Inside Arkansas with freaking John Neighbors and them. They're the ones that are being, you've turned Trey Biddy. Trey Biddy used to be as professional as it can be, but you've done pissed him off where he don't care anymore. And we've been there, but enough's enough when it comes to this, right? These articles that it's falling on deaf ears, man. If Arkansas was winning and we were winning big, it would land. But you're writing this stuff that you're pissing people off because Hunter Yuracheck deserves no flowers because it's really a slap in the face. It's really not a flex because you're first when you ain't done nothing. You're in last place in recruiting. You're in last place in fundraising. You're in last place as being an athletic director. But you want to put an article out there saying he deserves flowers. And then you won't stand behind your boy. You want to be a coward and throw him under the bus. If I was anybody writing for you, I would leave because that's coward stuff. The fact that you wouldn't stand on it because you're the one that approved the article. He had to send it to you. It's time for a change. It's time for everything. And I don't care who we piss off anymore because guess what? People like Matt Jones are starting to come around. Ruskin and Zach's turning around. Freaking Trey Biddy's turning around. They're starting to tell it how it is. And we're getting more and more and more. And it's going to be that way until Hunter Yuracheck's shown the door.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to change everything.
And for those that don't know, I'm going to play it's like a minute long, but this is what Hunter Yuracheck had to say about the fans. And my only thing with this is what he says and the negativity and this and that. Go to other groups. Go to other school message boards.
Yeah.
It's not just Arkansas. So for him to just single out us like it's just us, that we're the cancer, that we're the problem, no. Ain't happening, but here we go.
Every single aspect of our department is bought into our football program needing to be successful, and we need that from across our state. for people to be positive and create a positive narrative about the direction of our football program. Because if the narrative is always negative about our football program, you know who reads the social media more than anybody? 16 to 18-year-olds, right? And do 16 and 18-year-olds want to come to a place that is just saturated with negativity? Absolutely not. They're going to go somewhere else. So we've got to have this all-in mentality from within our department and outside of our department, and that's got to permeate throughout our fan base. And if you're truly a Razorback fan and you truly want this program to be successful, you have to bring that positive energy in every aspect of your support for our program. And that doesn't mean you have to give money. That just means you have to be positive, you have to believe, and you have to be all in as well. Because if we don't have people across the state that are all in and bought into the football program and Coach Silverfield's vision, we don't have a chance to be successful.
I think he said all in 4 times in that minute.
Yeah. What's your response to that?
I find it comical that he wants to talk about you don't have to give money, you just have to be positive. Bullshit. Because when football season starts up, you're going to be asking for money. So to act like that's not what we're asking for now. You're tired of being ridiculed. You're tired of being mocked. Maybe you're tired of this T-shirt. Tired of shows like us. Tired of us coming in here and talking about you, calling you out. I feel like this is basically like, I'm going to shift the blame away from me and I'm going to put it on you. This is all your fault. This isn't my fault. And if you keep doing this, this is why we're terrible at recruiting, is because these 16 to 18-year-olds are on social media seeing what you write about, what you post about, the comment sections of this, that, and the other. I'm sorry, sir. Like I said, go to any other team's social media and it's happening everywhere. Social media as a whole, and I know it's a lot of people's bread and butter. We make some money from it, but social media is a cesspool. It is a sad, sad place. Full of keyboard warriors, people getting their feels and immediately, whatever. I get it. But at the same time, do not point the blame at us for your failures as an athletic director. It's not my fault that you suck at your job. It's not my fault that you have to go to third party to take care of the job that you cannot do. It's not my fault that you're just waiting out the end of your contract so you can try to join this permanent college football playoff committee if it happens.
Yep.
You've interviewed for 2 or 3 other AD jobs and you didn't get it. You've tried to leave before, you couldn't. So don't sit here and try to act like it's our fault that you are awful at what you do. Point blank, period. All you care about is being in the black at the end of the fiscal year, making money. It looks good on you, placing in the top 10 of the Director's Cup, hanging your hat on that. All these SEC championships, but okay, outside of track, because they're going to do their thing with or without money. Yep. But your other sports that are winning these SEC championships, you want to congratulate, you want to hoot and holler for. You don't give 2 shits about them unless you can post about, oh, we won another SEC championship. That's all you want to hang your hat on. So let's stop the charade. Let's get through December 2027 when your contract is done, and let's be done. But between now and then, you best believe I am not biting my tongue when it comes to everything he does.
Yep. Because here's the thing, and I know I've said this before when we brought this subject up, but Hunter Yuracheck, if you're listening, which you probably turned it off by now, if you even, whatever. What says more volumes? A piss-ass a podcast like ours or anybody else being negative about the program, or your freaking self saying you don't have the money to have a successful football program on the biggest platform in the Little Rock Touchdown Club full of millionaires? Which one do you think is going to have the bigger reach, you idiot? And I apologize to our people who listen on Buzz 2. This will not be on Buzz 2. I will not be. Damon, I apologize. You're going to have to replay last week's episode, or we'll put out another one so you can have something on Friday. But there's too many cuss words going on. But you're an idiot because you sat there and said worse. You have not set this football program up to be successful. What do kids want when they go to college athletics now and play for a freaking SEC school? They want money. Well, you don't have it. So what resonates more, sir? What resonates more? We being negative and being honest, or you being honest and saying you're not going to have the money to pay these players? But when you don't care about NIL, you don't want NIL, this is what we're getting at. This is your fault. You made this bed that we're sitting here talking about this shit every week. We want to talk about something positive. We want to be positive. We're tired of it. But when you keep freaking slinging mud, this is what you're going to get from us. And we're going to keep doing it. And when we keep on seeing propaganda, so it's the fact that if we're burning some bridges, whatever, I don't care, because we have enough army behind us now that are speaking up and saying the truth, that whatever happens. I mean, you can't take anything away from us. But the fact is that you sat there, and I can't wait. What's he going to say this year at the Touchdown Club? But you don't have the money. You're wanting $30 million for your football field to have people's names on their toilets in your office, but you don't want to raise more NIL money. Mm-hmm. What would this football program do with $30 million in NIL? Where would Arkansas be if you had $30 more million in NIL? And you told the fans, you want to talk about your genius ass marketing plan. If you come out with this plan and you said donate to the football program, it's going to go to NIL, and 100% of those funds go to NIL. I guarantee you would have $30 million in 2 weeks. A freaking group of tennis players and old alum raised $5 million in 72 hours. They've raised more than you in 72 hours, and you have your whole career. Mm-hmm. So you need to, unless you're just giving up and you're just talking because you're rage baiting us, it's working. But clown show, it's over with. And I have no faith in what we're going to get out of this football team, because he's setting it up for failure and he's blaming it on us.
My last little tidbit before we get off here is just going to be, you want to get mad at social media or shows like us or whatever else you want to get mad at or point fingers at. Let's just backtrack a little bit. I'll just use, the Matt Jones clip, or even what you said last, or whenever it was at the Touchdown Club about not being set up to win a national championship, Sam Pittman not having money, this, that, and the other. I'm just going to say this, and talking about, say, shows like ours and whatever else, you did more damage. That clip of you saying that we weren't set up to win a national championship and we don't have money and blah, blah, blah. A show like ours, and I'll just throw this out there, across our platforms, we get 3,000 to 5,000 views per show. That little clip right there got hundreds of thousands of views. So what did more damage? Mm-hmm. Our show that gets 3,000 to 5,000 views?
Yeah.
Or your one little 30-second clip that got hundreds of thousands of views?
Yeah, exactly.
I think you've done a lot more damage than us.
Yeah.
Saying the quiet things out loud.
Yeah. Well, that from here on, this is how we're going to follow up. We're going to keep on. Things keep on going the way they are. We're coming to you once a week live from Sterling Soap and Roastery Studios. But we're going off of what we get. And one, yes, we rant and rave, but we're not lying to you. We're saying what the people have to say. I'm not going to be the sunshine pumper. I don't want credentials and to be patted on the back that bad. If I wanted to do that, I would be writing for Sports Illustrated right now, but I don't care.
Gary, every school gets 20.
Every school does, but it's split up. That's the thing. To be honest, 20 million don't buy you an offense anymore. And if it does, then you don't have a defense, and then you have last year's team.
So you still have to rely on NIL, because every athletic department gets $20.5 million to split up across every sport. They get to determine what percentage goes where. So obviously the majority is going to go to football 9 times out of 10. But yeah, every school gets $20.5 million.
Adam, you got anything else?
No, it's time for WWE Monday Night Raw.
It seems like I'm getting you in the mode for we're getting you in the groove for wrestling. It was like you want to go toss your cat through a table when you're done with this.
Yeah.
So, all right. Hey, look, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We want to thank all of our sponsors, all of our fans. It's one of those, we honestly, we don't like getting this way. We don't, but we get worked up when we keep seeing this, because Adam and I, we're from Arkansas. We love rooting for the Hogs. We love that. We know how passionate you are. And we know that things are never going to change if they keep on going the way. And we're tired of being gaslit into we're the problem. So we're going to continue to speak to the fans and use our platform to speak out, because you have few that do. And I just don't like people who don't do their own work. They steal from others. They do other people's work. They do half-ass articles, and all they're doing is for the fame and fortune of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the people who aren't real, they get the most out of it, and they get to, smell like roses stuff. So that's where we are now until things start changing. But look, continue to like, share, follow, tell everybody to support the cause, like, subscribe, all of that. We're on all platforms. Download the podcast. Unfortunately, you will not be able to download this week's or listen to it on the Buzz 2. So again, everybody, Buzz Radio Network, we apologize. But
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, all that.
Exactly. So, Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes. Thank you for listening, and we are going to catch you on Monday.